Hello, and welcome to Melomaniax, the podcast where we take unbiased deep dives into the biggest musicians and bands of all time. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Dallas. Before we get started today, do you want more weird music history, bonus episodes, and a backstage pass to the show? If so, hit up our Patreon at patreon.com/melomaniacs. For just $5 a month, you're going to get bonus episodes, early drops, access to our new Discord community, and a whole lot more. Helps us keep the deep dives coming. So if you're interested in what we're doing here, please join the crew today. And with that over, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. What is today's topic?
We're just going to talk about the creation history and just a few things about the Billboard. On a lot of our episodes, we mentioned, the Billboard 100, bubbling under, charting with Billboard 200. And we just figured we'd kind of dive into like the origins of it and why it's important, or maybe why it's not important to some people. But it's kind of just a foundation piece for music today, I feel like. And right off the bat, I had no idea it was a magazine. I thought it was like a online publishing thing, but it's actually there's a physical. Well, they do an online publishing, but it originated as a magazine, and they still do the weekly updates and everything. So
wow.
I don't know how much you know about Billboard.
Not a lot, to be honest. I never really cared about the charts. Never really thought about the charts. It's a lot of, at least my understanding of it, it's a lot of like buying your way to it. So I try not to, it's basically what the industry wants you to have and what's been paid for, as far as I understand it. Very rarely does anyone just accidentally end up, on the charts through like being good. It's happened, but I think that's more rare than when you have, massive label budgets backing everything you do, and they know the Billboard person, and hey, could you squeak us up to number one? Come on, man. Like, just a lot of that kind of stuff, I bet.
Yeah. So when I was briefly going through and it showed what goes into it for today's Billboard, because it's very different, like you're saying in the beginning, it literally was just like what record labels had the most money to pay Billboard to put their song on there. Today, it's still some of that, but it takes physical sales with downloaded sales with streaming and downloads.
Right.
So
I'm not saying they're paying to be on the Billboard 100. I'm saying they're paying for all the marketing to be able to have the numbers to be
have
Billboard.
Those. Yeah.
So it ends up becoming like, oh, if we just put more money into this, we'll be higher. It's like a straight 1-to-1,
Yeah, for sure. It's a marketing.
It's not that they're paying
scheme.
Billboard and Billboard's moving them. I'm sure that happened too at some point.
I was like, I think that probably when it first came out, it sounds like in the 50s and 60s from some of the bands that we've researched that is 100% what used to happen. You just slide them that $20 bill,
and now you're in the top 50 where you would have been 55,
exactly.
Or whatever.
But yeah, nowadays, like you said, you can stumble into that if you just happen to like blow up virally, you know what I mean, and get a ton of downloads. That can happen to get you on there, but for the most part, it's going to be dominated by top labels that are marketing those songs. So they're just pushing them to the people so much that they're like, hey, we got the numbers.
Yeah.
So.
The interesting thing about this, though, I think this whole thing falls in the category of kind of the circus around music. Like if you're an artist, you can't be bothered by this stuff. The same way if you're an actor, you shouldn't really care about Oscars and Gold Globes. It shouldn't really matter. You should just be, that's not why any artist gets into it to do it. And I think that's true for most artists, whether they're on it or not. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're just like, yeah, let the circus people do the circus, and we'll just keep doing the music.
Yeah, exactly. There is, oh man, so much. It's such a murky place.
Well, that being said,
yeah, we'll hop back to the beginning.
Into the origins.
Yeah. So we're going to rewind way back to 1894.
Yeah, way further than I thought it would go back.
I know, right? I was thinking like maybe 40s. 1940s was like same in my head. Like that was about where I was thinking. So it was actually, that's when Billboard was founded. And believe it or not, they didn't start off tracking music at all. It was just a publication for bill posting, or for the bill posting industry, like posters and outdoor advertising. So that's what its origins were. And then by the early 1900s, it began to shift focus towards entertainment a little bit, particularly like circuses and fairs, which is kind of like the big entertainment of the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And so then as music did start to grow in the 20th century, so did the Billboard's role in that industry. And by the 30s and 40s, kind of like what we were thinking, that's when the magazine started to track sheet music and jukebox play. So it was we were right, like with the music thing, as far as when Billboard got involved in that.
Right.
It was a slow evolution, but it basically just mirrored how people consume music at the time.
Yeah,
So it was kind of
consuming
like a
music
one-to-one.
wasn't really much of a thing before. And it
Yeah,
was a thing, but it
exactly.
was just so different.
Yeah, and it's so funny, like tracking jukebox. I guess I don't even know. I don't know much about a jukebox, but is there a way to go and there must be a way to look at an old one and see what songs are getting played the most.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know how that works.
but I don't know anything about a jukebox, so that's kind of interesting. I feel like Billboard just sends a guy around to check all the local jukeboxes and like tallies up.
Like a
That'd be
vending machine kind
hilarious.
of.
Yeah. So then in 1936 they introduced the chart line, and in 1940 they published their first music popularity chart. And it wasn't quite the Hot 100 yet, but it was like multiple charts, for jukebox plays, like we said, and record sales, and actually for radio airplay. So radio airplay started there too. So now you got a couple of different sources that they're pulling this
Yeah,
music
you know what
from.
this all reminds me of? It reminds me of the Michelin stars. Do you know any of the history of that
I don't
with
actually.
restaurants? So Michelin stars, it is the tire company. It's the same company.
I did
And
not know
the
that.
way it started was they were going to rank restaurants based on if you should just stop at them on your way, if you should go out of your way. It was related to travel. So like 3 stars is like make a special trip to go to this place, on your Michelin tires. And then 2 stars would be like if you happen to be in this area, go buy it, that kind of thing. So people that had nothing to do with food are now become the thing that every food artist is like striving for. It's the same here. It's like these people have nothing to do with music, but they've become the thing that the whole industry has to like bow down to. It's pretty crazy.
That is interesting. I always heard the Michelin stars and always was like, yeah, I can't be Michelin tires. Like, there's no way.
It's the exact
Well,
same company.
that blew my mind. So everything changed with the Billboard in 1958.
That's about
So-
where we thought. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
So-
where the birth of the Hot 100 is.
Yeah. Birth of the Hot 100. So August 4th, 1958. That would have been the first time Billboard published its very first ever Hot 100 chart. And the goal was to consolidate all those separate charts into one authoritative ranking of the most popular songs in the U.S. Makes sense. So what was the first ever number one? That would have been Poor Little Fool by Ricky Nelson. Do you know this song?
Can't say that I do.
No, me
I'm
either.
sorry. Yeah.
But at the time, the methodology for figuring out what a number one would be combined 3 elements. That was sales data from record stores, radio airplay gathered via reports from stations, and jukebox activity, which was still a major way people discovered music. And from there, the Hot 100 quickly became the definitive chart. So if you were a number one on the Hot 100, you've officially made it. I think that's pretty much true today. I saw a stat not too long ago. What's going on down here? That said, if you get one number one in your life, just one, so you talk about all the one-hit wonders, it generates enough money most of the time for you to live a pretty comfortable middle-class life for the rest of your life. Just one number one.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yep. You
So
won't be
then
riding around in
hitting-
Lambos and stuff unless you want to be broke really fast, but you won't have to go, work at Lowe's or whatever.
You
could
don't
just
have to
do your
have a
thing.
job. You can just live off of it.
Just chill out.
And I feel like there's a lot of people that are happy with that. You know what I mean? Get one good song. But so then I guess once you hit 2 and
Because then I
3,
guess,
that's when
because
it
yeah, I mean,
starts to-
once you have that, you don't have to have a normal job. You can keep going, writing with people, keep doing stuff. You can put all your energy into music, so you don't have to have a job anymore. Like,
try and hit just one more number one.
yeah, it's not like you sail off into the sunset, but it helps you be able to get out of day jobs and stuff.
And that's a number one song, not just charting on the
Yeah,
Hot
number
100,
one. Yeah,
right?
got it. I
Okay.
imagine it's kind of
Yeah.
like football, where you think you're in the NFL, you're making millions, but it's like, a lot of these guys are making like not as much as you think. Like,
Yeah, it's like the NFL draft. Yeah,
Yeah.
like only like it's like the first player drafted is like gets like I don't know double digit millions, and then like by the time you're like even the 12th pick or something, you're like way down in the single digit millions, and then like
poor guys.
if you're drafted in the second round, you're making hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes down so quickly, and I bet it does the exact same. Like number one, money. Number two,
Number two, get back to Starbucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I have a number two song on the radio, but here's your whipped cream.
Just not good enough.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about a little bit how the Hot 100 works now and back then. So songs getting on the Hot 100 in the early days, everything was manual. So clerks filled out forms, radio stations called in their playlist, and there was a lot of potential errors and biases.
And
so
bribes.
it was just off the word of mouth. That's where the money comes in.
Yeah.
Yep. Back then it literally
There
was
were a
just
lot
like,
of potential errors and biases.
yeah. Exactly.
Sharon needs a new watch.
Yeah. So you can only imagine the business deals that go down with that.
Yep.
So then fast forward to the 90s, and Billboard partnered with Nielsen SoundScan, and that was a game changer. Suddenly sales were tracked via barcode instead of people calling in their sales or sending in their sales reports. So as soon as it scans, it would, upload. And then airplay was measured electronically through broadcast data systems. So now everything is electronically, all that information is getting sent directly to the source.
This era would have been the golden age of like selling records.
Yes. Yeah, basically. And that brought a new level of precision and transparency to the charts. So now you got a lot more accurate representation going on. And then came the internet. So in the early 2000s, the industry had to rethink what music popularity even meant because of iTunes, YouTube, and other streaming sites. So iTunes started influencing the charts. They had a whole nother source to start having to pull information from. And then they have to include the YouTube stuff that entered in 2013 is when they included YouTube into the charts. So now you just get more and more of these websites and streaming platforms that are just like even more information. And like, not that it would directly affect it too much, but then you can just have people like playing their stuff on repeat on these like streaming sites and boost numbers and whatnot. But I still think it's pretty accurate. And then today, the Hot 100 is calculated using a combination of digital sales, which includes everything like iTunes and Spotify, radio airplay, and then any streaming on any app or website that streams. So that's where they're pulling all their stuff from these days. And then the different streams are weighted differently. So for example, a paid stream from a Spotify premium account counts more than an ad-supported stream on YouTube. So there's some different levels to that as well. And that's where more money comes in on, it's all about money. It always comes down to money. But I've found that pretty interesting. So those premium accounts, just like whatever they stream just counts more than somebody who's doing a free one. And that's so weird to me, but it's because it's not like that has nothing to do with the song. It just has to do with the account that the person listening to the song has. So there's still some room to grow, I feel like, for the Billboard 100.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, for sure. So we have the tier system on streaming, like Ashton was just saying. The paid subscriptions get full credit, free or ad supported get partial. Program streams like Pandora get even less than that. One important thing to remember here is 1,500 streams of a track is what it takes to equal one album sale. So that's how they measure that.
So 1,500 streams is one album?
Yeah, because if you think you buy an album and then, you're listening to the song a bunch of times, but the artist only got paid one time for that. You know what I mean? So streaming ends up for the biggest artists being more profitable than albums probably. If you have basically streaming will pay you if you have like a repeat worthy song, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing Not Like Us in the summer of 2024, like you're going to make a lot more money than if you just put out an album with that on it. Because everybody's listening to that song 60 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey guys,
that does make a lot of sense.
Relax. So with any ranking system, which this is, there's bound to be some controversy. Let's talk about a few here. First up, bundling. So for years, artists would bundle albums or singles with merch or concert tickets. If you buy a hoodie, you just got the free single with that. And that led to inflated chart positions. So Billboard actually banned this practice in 2020. Interesting. Or maybe they banned like counting it or something. That seems tricky to me. Fan-driven manipulations. Some fandoms organize mass streaming campaigns to boost their favorite artists. That'd be sweet. While enthusiasm is great, it can distort what the average listener is actually hearing. That's actually against Spotify's terms of service. I know there was a band, I can't remember their name. They put out an album of, I think it was like 8 or 9 tracks of just silence, and they had a whole bunch of people go streaming on a loop for days at a time because it was just silence.
Just to drive the numbers up.
And they ended up making a ton of money from it, and that brought Spotify's attention to that could happen, and they ended up adjusting their terms of service to reflect that.
Oh, man.
And then third, TikTok and virality. Some songs blow up on TikTok before they ever hit the radio or streaming playlists and things like that. And that's helped a lot of new artists break through, but it's also made the charts a little more volatile and unpredictable. Artists are basically releasing their songs or clips of their songs on TikTok before, and then sometimes there's dances or little skits people act out to them over and over and over and over and over and over again. It becomes a TikTok trend, and then that shoots up and TikTok starts recommending it more, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The song's not even out yet. So
yeah, that's how it seems to be. From I know, I'm trying to think of people that have gone viral with that. I think Baby No Money is one. I think Billie Eilish also got discovered from YouTube. I think Justin Bieber got discovered from YouTube. So like, but the way it works now is
Luke
you
Combs
almost
was on Vine.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Ella Langley had a TikTok trend go viral. There's a girl right now, I can't remember her name, but she's got one going viral. It's just a sassy girl song, basically. Those tend to do really well.
Yeah, I feel like an album is like only something you do once you have like 2 viral songs, essentially.
But
I
a
feel
lot
like
of people
those
don't ever
artists,
get a viral song. So
yeah,
it's not viral's not something you can ever plan for, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not something you plan for.
You can pay for it,
like,
but even then it might not catch. Like I know Shabuzi, who we're going to talk about in a second, and Dasha, both of them had songs blow off in the same summer, a couple summer. I think it was 2023 maybe. And the songs are everywhere. You couldn't avoid them, especially if you were in the country scene. And so I started doing some digging, like how? Neither one of those songs, in my opinion, is that good of a song. Definitely not to warrant the record we're about to talk about in a second. Definitely not. But somehow it got there. And I did some digging, found this deep article where their label or whoever was supporting them was paying TikTokers $800 a piece if they hit a certain view count using their song. So TikTokers were like, oh, we can make money by using this song. So then all of a sudden they started using it, and now it's in the TikTok algorithm, and it starts going and going and going and going and going. And both of those songs use that same practice. The thing is, that shuts out artists that don't have that money, which is most artists. So you see how right away you get an unfair advantage where you could just buy your way in. And if you have that option, take it. But you also get a lot of people trying to buy their way in for like their daughter or their son or whatever who's not very good. And that doesn't usually work. So you also have to have, a little bit of go get it on your own, which those two obviously did. But if you have that little bit of spark and someone can put, 10 grand behind your first song on TikTok, like who's going to do that? Go ask your dad right now if he'll give you 10 grand for TikTok. Let me know what he says. And then these people turned it into millions, So it's like, it can be done. You just have to have the right stuff behind you. But that brings us to the milestones and records, which we're going to talk about a few jaw-dropping milestones. The longest run at number 1 is a tie between Bar Song by Shabuzi and Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. Both of those at 19 weeks.
Man. Yeah, that makes so much sense that like, because once you get that song is like one of those ones that people just use on their TikTok videos, and you just hear it and
that
hear
money
it and hear
that I mentioned, the $800, that's dependent on views. So if your video doesn't get, I think it was like 10,000 views or something, like you don't get the money. So
but still, you're going to have a flood of people trying.
And what it means is you're going to get big TikTokers who are going to get 10,000 views by just being like, what's up? And sending it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So like you get big TikTokers that'll do it just to make $800 because it costs them nothing to do. So they can just make $1,000 real quick by just being like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. See you guys later. And the song's in the background.
And the song's in the background. Yeah. And just all of a sudden.
Or they're doing, in Dash's case, she had a dance with it. So they're doing that. That dance went super viral. And and then so they start just shooting out money to everybody, and it's definitely going to work. So that's nice. Most number ones by a solo artist. Solo artist is key. Mariah Carey with 19 and counting. We'll see how she does. Most number ones by any artist would be the Beatles with 20, so they got her beat by 1. First song ever to debut at number 1. So the second it was released at number 1. That's You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson in 1995. You're only going to debut at number 1 if you have a shit ton of hype around you before anything's coming out. Like, so it's almost never going to be your first, release. You're looking at someone like Morgan Wallen right now. Like, he releases something, it's going to be number 1. You know what I mean? Taylor Swift, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, where they have a fan base that can
and everybody's
overwhelm
eagerly waiting to see what's next.
Yeah, where your fan base is so large that it directly impacts,
Which is weird, though, because we just established that you get to number 1 by sales data. Day 1, you don't have any sales data yet. So how's that work? I could understand by the end of day 1, you're number 1. But how's it going to come out at number 1? That's basically the industry saying, like, we know.
Right, yeah.
The youngest artist to top the chart ever, Stevie Wonder. Little Stevie Wonder at just 13 years old. So the Hot 100 has become kind of a cultural touchstone. It's established the soundtracks to a lot of our lives. And we remember where we were when certain songs were number 1. So they become kind of historical markers as well. So, that's cool.
Yeah. It's funny that it's like number 1s become historical markers, but then throughout the show, I'm also equally surprised by the amount of songs that never hit number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the same, where a song will come up at like, a lot of times it's like when you have this idea that a song maybe hit number 1, it usually is still in the top 5, but it's always so weird to see them come in at like 2 or 3, and then you go and look at the number 1 song, and then you're immediately like, oh, because it was a genre that has more listeners or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not always like...
It's the songs you remember being everywhere, and then you go and you're like, number 2.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what?
I couldn't walk into a mall without hearing this in 5 stores.
Shoved down my throat for months at a time. Yeah, it's always so funny to see those.
It's crazy.
So why does the Hot 100 matter? It's in an age of infinite playlists and TikTok snippets and algorithm-driven listenings. Like, does the Hot 100 even matter anymore? It absolutely does. Because it's the music industry scoreboard. It can launch careers, boost Grammy campaigns, and cement legacies. And for many artists, it's a symbol that their music has broken through. And it also reflects on how we consume music, just the average listener. And the chart evolves with us, and that's what makes it so fascinating. And it's funny that it says the music industry scoreboard, because when I was reading that biography on Paul Simon, when we were doing our Paul Simon episode, he specifically was like, he wanted to chart, he wanted to get Grammys, he wanted those successes, but it had nothing to do with anything about like the money or the viewers. It was direct competition with other music artists is how Paul viewed it. He wanted to chart better than other musicians. He wanted to show up to the Grammys and win Grammys to beat the other musicians. So he really did use it as his scoreboard to beat other people. I remember there was one where he got he came up short on a Grammy because Stevie Wonder won it, and he was happy for Stevie. But then there was another one where I can't remember who the artist was, but someone else won it, and it was an artist he didn't necessarily like. So that one like really hit him hard. Like, they thought he was better.
Yeah, you can't let that stuff affect you. You have to like the best artists. I think you have to just kind of live outside that world. Like the coolest move I know of is when artists don't even go. That's the coolest move. Yeah. Morgan Wallen, one of the top selling artists ever. They do the American Country Music Awards. He doesn't even go. He's playing golf with Tom Brady in Ireland.
There you go.
It's just like, you guys do whatever, say whatever. I'm going to continue beating all of you over here quietly.
Yeah, I think Paul stopped going after a little while, but it was funny just to see his evolution of like the competitiveness at those, and then to like
competitiveness in art is weird. That's a weird thing.
Right?
Art is not sports. Art is not business. Art is art. And it is very weird to see people be competitive. Like, my art's better than your art. Like, that's, to someone, I'm sure, and to someone else, mine's better than yours, and then to someone else, his is better than his, and then like, no,
Yeah.
there's no rules to this. Nobody knows what's going on, and the people that tell you they do are lying, which is why you get so many sketchy business people in the industry, because nobody knows like who's going to be the next thing, what makes someone like something. Like, it's we have ideas, and you can manufacture it by, like you said, just paying enough money to shove it down everybody's throat, and then eventually it just kind of clicks. But there's no way to really know any of this stuff. That's why there's no path to like go to school, do this apprenticeship, become the biggest artist. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, it's not like a doctor. Doctor, you're like, okay, I do this, doctor. This isn't like that.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, bringing in like a weird competitiveness. Most people that I like the viewpoint that I've heard from several people, there's no competition, there's only collaboration. That's a better way to look at it, I think. Because like, hey, if we're all in the country thing, in the country world, and a country artist pops off and dominates Taylor Swift, it's like, oh, cool, country's winning. I'm in country. We all win. That's great. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's pop, hip hop. It's this. Country's never really been at the top. It was the first time ever the top 3 songs in the Billboard were country. It was like 2023 or something. So like, it's now the biggest genre, but it wasn't ever before. So it's kind of cool. But that's collaboration, I feel like.
Yeah, the music industry itself has gone through so much variance
Constantly changing.
over the years.
People because I don't know what this is. This is a fascinating topic, but there's something about as soon as you make it, people turn on you. And it's the weirdest thing to watch. The weirdest thing to watch. Because I've seen it I follow Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, comedians. And when they were coming up, I was following them then too. So I saw all the comments were like, dude, you're the best. We love you. Keep going, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then they made it. And now all the comments are like, this fucking guy's the worst comedian I've ever seen. He dies. I hope he dies. I hope he fucking like, it's just like, what? This is the same people that were just saying like, we got you. Like, but I saw this other quote that perfectly sums that up. People love to root for an underdog only because they're an underdog. As soon as you're not an underdog anymore, they're not rooting for you anymore. They're rooting for you to fail. Because you reflect the things that they haven't done in their life, right? If you go out and make it, well, now I'm really pissed because I didn't go out and make it. You know what I mean? So fuck that guy. And that's the whole attitude. So it's pretty disturbing to see on a mass level though. Like, because now like I watched it happen with Bert first, but people still like Tom, and now I'm watching it happen with Tom too. I watched it happen with Rogan. I watched it happen with anyone that's become big.
Yeah, anybody who becomes big has that like downfall.
And all of them say the same thing. Like, so what? Say whatever you want. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like,
yeah.
I don't read your comments.
Yeah, you're going to get, as you get bigger and bigger, you're going to get more and more haters. You know?
Actually, haters is how you know you're actually making it.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, you weigh your success by the amount of people that hate you.
Yep. The most psychotic thing I heard is David Goggins records himself reading all of his hate comments and then puts them in his headphones and listens to them while he runs.
That's hilarious.
What a boss.
There's probably someone that'll make him laugh. That always reminds me of watching the oh god, is it Jimmy Kimmel who does the celebrities read mean tweets? I don't know if you've seen that.
I think that's right, yeah.
But he has them go up there and read like mean tweets.
Yeah.
Some of them are so funny, and I feel like you can tell so much about the person based on the response. Like some people like just are like reading through it and like can't even keep their laughter together. You can tell the occasional person gets a little butthurt.
Dude, I've gone down the rabbit hole of which actors and celebrities are nice and which are not lately, from like tons and tons of people's personal experiences with them. Like, oh, I met so-and-so in a coffee shop, or oh, I used to be so-and-so's assistant, or oh, my cousin works for blah, blah, blah. Like, so like all these firsthand accounts of and consistently you see the same names are like major assholes. Like,
yeah.
One that surprised me was Carrie Underwood.
Really?
Every single person was like, she is the meanest, like, like nastiest person. I was like, well, I don't know her, but that's a whole lot of people saying that. So,
man.
Yeah, you know, it's just so crazy that you could put out an outward, like you're basically an act, you know? And then as soon as the curtain's drawn, you're like, rude, mean, whatever.
Take the mask off.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're getting off topic, but I love getting off topic. But let's bring it home here with a little bit of, I wanted to go through just the sheer amount of charts that there are.
There's so many.
And there's so many that I'm just going to hit them at you rapid fire here. Of course, we have the Billboard Hot 100. That's the U.S. music industry standard song popularity chart. The bubbling under Hot 100. We've talked about this before, and I think it warrants a description here as well. This ranks the top 25 songs below number 100 that have not previously appeared on the Hot 100. But positions do not directly correspond to positions 101 to 125. It's just you're under 100. You're not ranked, basically, but you're close.
You're close. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Now we'll go through the quick ones. Radio songs, digital song sales, streaming songs, right? Makes sense. Now we're into the genres. Adult and pop. We have the mainstream top 40, adult pop, airplay, adult contemporary. In the Christian and gospel genre, we have quite a few. Hot Christian songs, nice. Christian digital song sales, Christian streaming songs, Christian airplay, Christian AC airplay, hot gospel songs, gospel airplay, gospel digital song sales, gospel streaming songs. I feel like we need to create our own chart, the Melomaniax chart.
Right?
Country music has hot country songs, country airplay, country digital song sales, country streaming songs. You'll notice a lot of these have airplay, digital streaming. It's kind of the same stuff. Dance electronic has... There are so many of these. I'm looking at how many more I have to go. Dance club songs, hot dance electronic songs, hot dance pop songs, dance mix show airplay, dance digital song sales. You know what? As I say this, I feel like you guys get it. I don't need to listen to all of these. There's holiday, there's internet charts, there's jazz. Jazz has one. Latin. Latin has like 50. R&B, hip hop. There's gonna be a lot of those. That has the most. Rock and alternative, hot rock and alternative songs. Just so funny to use the word hot. World music, international charts, you got Canadian. They have their own list. Other international charts. Of course, you want to hit the Arabic Hot 100. That's a who's who there. Albums, this is different from songs. Your Billboard 200, that's different and is the industry standard for albums. That includes albums from any genre, both new and catalog albums, and includes data from on-demand and streaming services. But beyond that, you have... Of course, it goes genre, top alternative, top bluegrass, top blues.
So everything we just said
but
then
albums,
applies to the albums as well.
And then you have video, and then you have a whole bunch of discontinued charts.
Oh.
The active rock chart was discontinued in 2013. China Top 100 was discontinued in 2019.
Oh, not the bestseller in stores.
Heat Seekers album
way back though
was discontinued this year in January 2025. So there's a lot here. I'm still scrolling.
Oh no, not the K-pop 100.
Oh no!
In 2022, it had its couple years of
once again the yard guys are outside. It never fails. Every time we hit record on this podcast, it doesn't matter if it's 4 a.m., if it's weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna admit I share your schedule with them. Every week, it's a weekly thing.
Hey guys.
I include we have a 3-way schedule calendar. It's you, me, and the yard guys.
Yeah, and you make a special note like we're gonna be doing it this time, so make sure you're spraying your leaf blower directly into his window. Here's where his studio is. Point it right there and just stand there way longer than you need to.
Yep.
Way longer than you need. Just that's all you need. But they're just standing there,
Yep. And you're on the second floor, so it's just shooting it up.
It's like, bro, you got
Not
it.
even
You're
at
good.
the ground. Yeah.
Just stick my head out the window.
Shoot!
Just throw rocks or something.
There was something I wanted to mention earlier about the Billboard Hot 100. I forgot to say. So they track it. They update the list weekly. Every week it comes out, and then there's a year-end chart that basically is like
interesting,
the culmination of the year. So there's kind of like the two different, and you'll see it. You'll see that come up on occasional episodes we do, as far as year-ending chart versus just the weekly charts.
Right.
So, but man, I can't believe there's so many charts. I didn't know there were so many discontinued charts. That's so funny.
I didn't know that either, but it does make sense. But it's just not ever anything I thought about. I've never thought about any charts besides the main one. That's crazy,
Yeah, I always just knew that there was like the Hot 100, the
Mm-hmm.
Bubbling Under, and then I
The
knew that
200.
for like each genre had like their own Hot 100 or 50. It looks like in this case, most of the genre specific charts only have 50
Yeah.
positions instead of 100.
Yeah.
So you don't have, yeah, it would be very difficult. I'm sure 50 through 100 would just be, they're not exactly making it if you're going specific into the genre.
I did like what they said about an artist's. It lets hitting the charts lets an artist feel like, okay, we're on the right track. That's
Yeah,
that's
that
a
is,
nice feeling. Yeah,
yeah, that is a cool thing
I like
that
that.
they kind of represent.
What else did we want to discuss here?
I don't know. I was just kind of curious to see what's on the chart today. I was just about to
Let's
pull up
do
the
it.
chart right now. I was like, what is
Billboard Hot
charting right now?
100,
So we
number
can.
one for May 17th. Is that today?
That
May
is
17th, 2025. It's a couple days from now, but I guess it's for this week.
that's the end of that'll be the end of the week. Yeah. So yeah, May 17th will be when it posts.
So I
its
see
end
number
of the
one
week
is Luther
posting.
by Kendrick Lamar.
I see that as well. Yep. Number 2,
Ordinary by Alex Warren. Do you know who that is? I've never heard of this.
I don't, but I bet I just want to. I have this weird feeling that half these songs I probably hear scrolling through Instagram and stuff.
Tell me how a bar song is still number 4.
Is it? Oh my! That's it. I'm pretty sure that song gets played
I will
on.
give you it's a catchy song. I will not give you it's a good song.
Yeah. There you go. Ooh, I haven't
Number
heard Die With a
one, you're talking
Smile.
about, well, I guess, who knows? It's just popularity at this point. It's not necessarily about good.
They're touring together right now. Also, Kendrick and SZA. They're on tour as we
Okay,
speak.
cool.
So that also helps promote.
Very true. Pink Pony Club.
I haven't heard that song with Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, but
It's
man,
not very good. It's fine.
Aw,
I was so excited for it, and I listened to it, and I
Man.
was like, come on, man.
I just saw that collab and I just got super hyped. But man,
Yeah.
that sucks. That's
Lose
not-
Control by Teddy Swims. A lot of this stuff is just kind of like old. Old being like within the last year or two.
Oh, Morgan Wallen on there. Nice.
Beautiful Things. Yeah, so that's Morgan Wallen's new one at number 10.
So, and then I pulled up the Billboard 200 just to see, and we've got, of course, it's going to be in Spanish, a Bad Bunny album, Debí tirar más fotos, at number 1 right now.
Wait,
Fusera
what is it called?
I pulled up the Billboard 200
Week of May
as
10th?
well. This week, week of May 17th. I didn't pull up
How
the
do I get
previous.
to that one? Oh, here we go. Oh, I get
I
a
was just
404. This page has gone missing.
Oh, nice.
I think
I
I'm in
guess I've
Canada.
got that. I've got that secret information that you have no access
Oh,
to.
I'm here now. Yeah, I see it.
So looks like we got
Morgan's
Fuera-
old, like, first or second album, I think, is number 4.
Is that really? Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
And
know.
then Morgan
who's-
Wallen's other album's number 9.
Nice, he's on there twice.
And
Sabrina
Shabuzi's
Carpenter
managed
on
to be at
there
number 10 from one song on the album.
from one song. So
I
SZA's
just can't
on
even.
here.
I can't even fathom how massive that song got. That's crazy.
Kendrick Lamar's on here. Party Next Door and Drake. Key Glock. Okay, it's like it kind of represents. I feel like what I'm hearing. Oh, here's Billie
Yeah.
Eilish at 11. Playboy Cardi. Lady Gaga. Post Malone. Okay, it's
Rumors by
Swift is
Fleetwood
still at
Mac somehow.
17.
Weeks on chart,
Wait.
632.
Wait, it's Rumors is on here still? Oh my gosh.
But look
it
how many
is.
weeks it's been on the chart.
I mean, it's a good album. It's a
It just
phenomenal
never left.
album, dude. Yeah. How's a Pink Floyd? Okay, it's a live Pink Floyd album.
But
that's
can you
why.
just imagine, like, 40 years of being like, nah, nothing's topping this. Like, you're like, nothing? All of the
Nothing.
music has been released since this. All of it.
Do they even have an album after Rumors? Because they broke
I don't know.
up. I just don't know if they continued the band after. That'll be an episode we'll do in the future, but
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know
A lot
a
of
whole lot
drama
about
on
them.
that one.
Other than the fact that they kind of they reiterate this, like, I feel like the more turmoil in the band, the better album. Diamonds come out of like huge amounts of pressure type thing. So like Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is when the band hated each other the most. When they were at each other when Roger Waters and Gilmore were just couldn't stand each other, they created Dark Side of the Moon. Everyone says their best album. Same thing with Rumors for Fleetwood Mac. Literally, the two couples in the band both divorced during that album. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
whenever there's like heavy turmoil, the best albums come out. I don't know why. I even feel like it's the same with the Doobie Brothers when Tom left. It was like like that was it Minute by Minute, I think, is the album that he was last part of or whatever, like during like
it was
leaving.
the one before that, I think.
Or
that he was the last part of, and Minute by Minute was the first without him at all, I think.
Was it?
Or it might have been the one after
that. Was our very first episode. I think he did some guitar work on like two of them, or maybe he worked on some songs and then those songs didn't make that album. But like it was like during that process that like he left and it was like a full shift. But it just seems like whenever there's like something goes wrong within the group, great album comes out of it.
That's true. But I wanted to share this paragraph with you I found that sounds interesting. Talking back to the Hot 100 chart. As many Hot 100 chart policies have been modified over the years, one rule always remained constant. Songs were not eligible to enter the Hot 100 unless they were available to purchase as a single. However, on December 5th, 1998, the Hot 100 changed from being a singles chart to a songs chart. And during the 90s, a growing trend in the music industry was to promote songs to radio without ever releasing them as singles. It was claimed by major record labels that singles were cannibalizing album sales, meaning you would just go buy the single and not the album, because who gives a shit about the other 9 songs when you just want the one? So they were slowly phased out. And during this period, accusations began to fly of chart manipulation as labels would hold off on releasing a single until airplay was at its absolute peak, thus prompting an immediate top 10, or in some cases, a number 1 debut. So they'd release to radio, get everyone going crazy from the radio promotion, which is crazy expensive. You release to radio for a campaign, it's 30, 50 grand easy. And get it peak, drop the single right when everyone's really wanting it, In many cases, a label would delete a single from its catalog after only 1 week, thus allowing the song to enter the Hot 100, make a high debut, and then slowly decline in position as the one-time production of the retail single sold out. It was during this period that several popular mainstream hits never charted on the Hot 100, or charted well after their airplay had declined. So during the period that they were not released as singles, the songs were not eligible to chart. Many of these songs dominated the Hot 100 airplay chart for extended periods of time, and I read all that to read you this list because it's a crazy list. The 1995, the Rembrandts, I'll Be There For You, number 1 for 8 weeks. 1996, No Doubt, Don't Speak, number 1 for 16 weeks. 97, Sugar Ray, Fly, number 1 for 6 weeks. 97, Will Smith, Men in Black, that was number 1 for 4 weeks. The Cardigans, Love Fool, also 97, number 2 for 8 weeks. Natalie Imbruglia, Torn, number 1 for 11 weeks. I know her name. I know that song. I need to go back and remember what that song was because I see it written about a lot, and I know it, but I can't ever remember it. And then finally in 1998, the Goo Goo Dolls, Iris, number 1 for 18 weeks.
It's like I know almost every song you just listed.
Yeah, so as debate and conflicts occurred more and more often, Billboard finally answered the requests of music industry artists and insiders to include airplay-only songs or album cuts in the Hot 100. While the retail component was reduced from 40% to 25%. So in Billboard's defense, it seems like they are constantly trying to make it as fair as they can.
So that's how Michael Jackson
earlier point
debuted
in the very beginning, the first thing you saw music industry people do was like, oh, we could cheat the system. Let's do it. Like the very first thing they did.
Yep.
Every opportunity they see, they will do it. So it's very interesting. So, and I guess you got to respect the business hustle of like, we're going to win at all costs. But again, that's you have art, you have business. Where's my camera? Art and business, 2 different things. And that's generally where you get the artists that are kind of a little more like, whatever, man. And the business, which is a little more like, we're going to step on everybody's head to get to the top, It's like, maybe let's find just like a happy medium there.
Just a meet in the middle.
Yeah.
You can do your marketing machine, but I need to have some kind of way to be able to compete with your marketing machine. Yeah. I don't need to beat it. I just need to be able to compete with it because currently I can't even enter the game. Yeah.
What helped with all that was TikTok and stuff like that. Now you have people just making a video being like, do in your bedroom, and then all of a sudden it's viral. It's like, oh, cool. So we can compete now. and that scares the shit out of the industry, which I like. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the day. The next time you hear a song is climbing the Hot 100, you'll now know there's a whole system behind what's going on: history, data, trends, culture, money, all that's driving it. And that's going to be it for today's episode of Melomaniax. If you loved this breakdown of the Billboard and the Hot 100 charts, just give us a follow, give us a rating wherever you listen to us, and share with anyone you think would enjoy this podcast about music. We're music obsessives, so share it with your music obsessive friends. And if you have any chart related questions or ideas for a future episode, hit us up on socials, just at Melomaniax Podcast. You can find us online, melomaniax.com. Until next time, keep spinning those records, and we will see you guys later.
Peace.